Good morning, Foxwood friends. My name is Ivan Weed, and I'm happy to introduce the Director of Community Development for the City of Raymore, who's been with us several years, and he'll tell us more about his background. His name is Jim Cadoret. Cadoret, Cadoret. And Jim, we're very happy to have you with us this morning. Before you talk about your city job, would you tell us something about your personal life? I know that you have a family, and tell us where you grew up and were educated before you came to Raymore.
Certainly, yes. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jim Cadoret, and I've been with the City of Raymore as Community Development Director for 11 years now. I came here in 2003, so excited to still be here and look forward to being here for many more years. I came to Raymore from Indiana, which is where I grew up in northern Indiana in South Bend, Indiana. And I actually had, when I first graduated college out of Ball State University in Indiana, my first job as a planner, a city planner, was with the city of Leavenworth, Kansas. So it introduced me to the Kansas City area. My wife and I then moved back to Indiana and spent some years in Florida working down there. But decided when we were looking for a final place to work in the field of city planning and city government to locate back to the Kansas City area, and fortunately came upon Raymore as a place to settle. My wife Michelle and I, we have 5 daughters.
Oh my.
And, 5 daughters. And
That's a busy household.
it was a busy household, and we're blessed to have the 2 oldest ones are married now, and so we're blessed to have 4 grandchildren. So that's very exciting, and our middle daughter is getting married soon. So we're left with 1 daughter in our house. She is a senior in high school, and will soon be going off to college to become a nurse like her mom down at Missouri State. So soon we'll be empty nest.
Empty nesters.
Yes, so it's going to be quite a difference from having the 5 girls in the household. But very excited to be here. Again, came as Community Development Director a number of years ago, and that responsibility is for planning and being involved with all the development activities for the city. So by department, there's 7 of us within our department. So we work with any new residents that are moving into the city or any new businesses looking to construct in the city. So we work from the very beginning when somebody's first wants to move to the city, help them through the process for approval and get what they need to get started either on their home or on a business, and are involved in the inspection to make sure all the construction activity is done safely. And overall, just work on the plans for the future of the city. So just one member of a large team of city individuals, professionals that work to guide the growth and development in the city. So I've been very excited about that. Over the years, a lot has happened in Raymore over the 11 years. It's amazing how much it's grown. When I first came here, the population was right around 12,000. And most recently, the estimate was just under 20,000. So a lot happened right there in the middle of the 2000s. Things did slow down. 2007, 2008 with the economy situation, but it has picked up. And Raymore's been fortunate as I monitor what other cities in Kansas City have going on for development. We continue to rank towards the top in growth, and that's a very good thing for Raymore. People want to live here. We've had a lot of residential growth. Now, maybe not quite as much, maybe commercial or restaurants or shopping that we want, but that comes with rooftops. And the more rooftops we get in the city, the more things we'll have coming to our community. So we've had quite a few new developments come forward recently that have been pretty exciting for the city. Probably the biggest impact residential development-wise that the city's had has been the Creekmore subdivision. A lot of you know the Creekmore subdivision. It is where the golf course is, and just north of the Walgreens and the Willow and Shopping Center, and not too far from here at Foxwood Springs. That development actually started after I got here in 2004, but quickly, in just that short time period, they've already have 500 homes in that subdivision. And we, as a city, just approved a couple of more phases of development there, so a lot of activity happening in Creekmore. And it's brought a lot of attention to Raymore because of its golf course and the amenities it has there. It does have a lot of higher end homes, more expensive homes, but it does fit that need for the community, and it's been very good for Raymore and drawing attention to our community, and so we're very happy about that and very pleased to see all the growth that's happening up in the subdivision there. Great location for families with the school and right in the middle of the city, so very excited to see that development move forward and what's happening there. It's about half built out now. They came in and bought 1,000 acres of land and started from scratch and built the lake and built the course, and they're already half built just in 9 years. So a lot has happened there. But we have a lot of development happening in other locations in our city as well, which is nice from a planning standpoint to be able to see the balance, because it's very important that we have the balance, that we have housing available for all individuals, all income levels. And so we have a lot of other homes being constructed and developments happening in other parts of the community. Across the street from Foxwood Springs here, we have a development going in. It started a number of years ago, the townhomes behind the Legends. Unfortunately got caught at the time when the economy was going bad, and so townhomes weren't being purchased as often as maybe as the traditional single-family home. But the development has new ownership, and they have approval to come in with 56 new units will be constructed in that development for individuals, and these particular units will be more for the entry-level individuals. It is sponsored under a program through the state of Missouri, and what it does is it helps working families to be able to afford to purchase one of the homes. So we're excited that it meets, again, a need for individuals that need to work and live in Raymore. And that project will be started very soon. It's going to be very nice. Again, townhome developments will fit in very well with the ones that are there. But we'll bring, again, 56 individuals or families into that particular neighborhood. And you may have seen there's a lot of activity over in the Legends across the street here around the Culvers area. But the work you see right now is more for some future commercial developments. For a number of years, you may have seen behind the Culvers a very large dirt pile, stockpile of dirt.
Yes.
And not much has happened. And with the new owner, they're trying to make the land look a little bit more ready for development. So what you see happening is work to basically level out the entire property. So they'll get rid of the large dirt pile. They'll make all the land around Culvers what's called pad ready, so it's ready for a business to come in and locate. No businesses have indicated they would locate there at this time, but I know they're in negotiations with a number of restaurants, a number of businesses to go in there. So they felt by having it look more ready that it would be easier to close the deal with a few of these restaurants. So hopefully we'll see some activity there as far as building very soon. So we're very happy about that development. We had another subdivision of ours, the Brookside subdivision, which has been in Raymore for probably 20 years now. Just started their next big phase of development. They have another 80 acres of land. They probably have 400 homes in their little subdivision, so it's a lot of activity down there. They have starter homes, they have family-sized home, and they have homes for seniors down there. They're all single-family homes, but they're experiencing growth and going into a whole new area.
Yeah, where is that?
Brookside is off the Lucy Webb Road, and it's just south of Silver Lake. So if you're familiar with where the lake is for Silver Lake, it's just to the south of there on Lucy Webb Road.
It would be about 2 miles or 1.5 miles from Foxwood?
That's correct, yeah, south. And with the new development, it actually will connect to Hubach Hill Road, which gets out to the interstate, to 71 Highway and the interstate. So As far as a location for our subdivision, it's going to have great access to the new interchange onto the interstate highway. So it's got a lot of promise for new development to happen there. And that subdivision, what they're proposing to build is entry level. So starter homes for young families. That particular subdivision is located very close to an elementary school where the children could walk to school, and so it's a great location to see that kind of development to come in and into the community.
The Brookside also has a lot of retirement homes, patio type homes.
They do. They have a lot of patio homes for senior residents, probably almost 100 homes that have been very successful. It's a beautifully maintained subdivision. But the owners, the developers of that subdivision feel that that's a prime location for the starter homes. So they have stopped building the homes for the senior residents and have gone strictly to the entry-level homes at this point in time.
So that would be very close to Stonegate Elementary, is that
That's
correct?
right. So they'll actually, when they start building, the children would be able to walk to the Stonegate Elementary and then eventually go on to the intermediate schools that are close by. So I'm happy because I think it's a great location to be able to see the new homes be able to be close enough where the children can walk to the school, which is an advantage that Creekmore has as well, and a few of our other neighborhoods. So a very positive thing. Go ahead.
If you continue to bring in young families with young children, one of these days they're going to have to build a new high school. They've built new elementary schools and they've built a new middle school now, and Ray-Peck High School is just bursting at the seams, I understand. So one of these days, we're going to have another high school out this way.
I think that's in the planning stages. The problem has been bonded indebtedness.
Surely.
We have to pay off our current bonded indebtedness before we can ask the taxpayers to go ahead with another bond issue.
Mm-hmm.
What about the road from Raymore to Ray-Peck School? Is that still on the back burner?
Well, it actually has started phase one of construction. So the first section of roadway went just to the south of our recreation park and south of the city limits there, right at Hebok Hill Road, is the first phase of the school road improvement project. It's currently under construction. So that segment of road is actually closed right now, forcing individuals to take a detour to get to the high school for a period of time. So it is active construction. In fact, there was just a large meeting yesterday to check on the progress of the work. It's not you don't see a lot happening at this point in time. A lot of things are happening underground with utility locations and things of that nature. So I know everybody's anxious for that road segment to open up.
Yeah.
The one thing about that project, it's always important when projects are started because of the weather, and I think weather's going to have quite an impact on that project now, because it's especially when you working on roads, you have to have good, dry, warm weather, and today's a perfect day. It's for fall weather, but not for construction. So unfortunately, the kids driving to school and parents and the buses may have to detour for a while to that project. This is phase one of, I believe, a 3-phase project to totally improve the road all the way down to the high school. So long needed.
Part of that's going to come from Peculiar, is it? Is part of the
Yes,
part
the
of the
county,
financing?
Cass County and the city of Peculiar are doing the current improvement.
I see.
I don't think we have any funds involved in
The
this.
city of Raymore does not have any funds involved directly in the project. No portion of the project is within the city limits, and I believe that was the basis for the decision. Although we know Raymore, residents and students go down to there, but the actual road project was in the county and the city.
Well,
of
we had
Peculiar.
already done our share all the way down to 187th Street.
Yes, we had done our share. That's right.
Well, when you think of the traffic that road takes with the buses and as well as the students who drive and the parents who drive. It's just bound to be a mess for a while.
At least 6 months, at least.
And we want you to talk about the new city manager. We have a new city manager in Raymore.
We do have a new city manager, but a familiar face. Jim Fearborn was officially
That's right.
appointed as the city manager just this Monday of this week by our city council. Unanimous support for Jim. Jim has been with the city for 10 years and has moved up through the ranks. He started out as the finance director for the city after many years as being an assistant superintendent for a local school district. So he came on as our finance director and served in that role for about 3 years, and then was promoted to assistant city manager, where he was for the next 6 years. And then when our longtime city manager, Eric Berlin, took a position up in North Kansas City. Eric had been with the city for 11 years, which is a long time, for a city manager to be in one position. Jim was appointed by the council because of his 7 years of service as assistant as the official city manager. So very excited to have him on board, and of course has a great relationship with all the other department heads like myself, having been with the city for a number of years. So
The transition should be really easy then, because he was already on board, so to speak.
yes, exactly. And I initially our city council had discussed, going out for a national search and getting a firm in to help, try to work on the advertisement and selection of a city manager. And I think city council came to the ultimate decision that we had the perfect individual already here working for us in the city. So I think it was a great vote of confidence for Mr. Fearborn and for what has been going on in the city. So, I think all of us with the city were very pleased to see that happen. And I know Jim already has started the process to hire an assistant. I can't do it all himself, so hopefully he'll get somebody on board that would be able to help him as a new role of an assistant city manager. So.
Okay.
I was the chairman of the Personnel and Finance Committee that hired Jim, and we had several qualified applicants, but he was the best.
Yeah.
He was the best.
And he stayed with stayed with us all along, and so this is a good transition. I want to know the difference between the city manager and the mayor in their jobs and what they do.
It's a great question. And City of Raymore, its charter went with a council manager form of government. There's different forms of administrative governments you can go with. A lot of cities have a strong mayor, where the mayor actually is the individual that runs the city. And city council a number of years ago for Raymore decided with this council manager form of government, where council makes the legislative decisions, passes the laws and the codes that apply to the city. But the city manager runs the day-to-day activities and business of the city. And I think the realization is that city government is a form of business. And you need to have a professional, educated individual that is experienced in finance and budgeting and administrative matters. And so the city manager for Raymore acts as the chief executive officer for the city. Where the mayor's role at Raymore, a very important role. Obviously, mayor runs the meetings of the council and has certain powers granted to him to make certain decisions. But the mayor's more of a statesman for the city and generally provides some overall guidance for the city. But it is the city manager that actually runs the day-to-day operations of the community. And in Raymore, our mayor is not a full-time position, although I'm sure he puts in many, many hours every week. But it is the city manager that actually runs the day-to-day business of the city.
Okay, so in a way, the mayor is just kind of a figurehead.
Somewhat, yeah. He certainly is a salesperson for the city. He's the one that's out and about amongst other, other mayors of other communities, and he's a representative for the city.
And he doesn't have a vote unless the council has a tie.
Okay.
And then he can cast a vote.
Okay.
Otherwise, he doesn't have a vote.
Yes.
So is he paid?
He is paid. The mayor and the council members are paid for their duties. They, you know, a lot of meetings they have to attend, especially the mayor has many, many meetings to attend, but a lot of daily responsibilities that they have, so they are given a little bit of a stipend for that.
Okay, okay. But that's not considered a full-time job.
No, not technically it's not, no, but it is, I'm sure it works out that way.
Yeah. Okay, well, tell us some of the community development things that are coming down the pike.
Especially the Benton Place.
Yes, the Benton House facility, I'll start with that. It's the most recent development that we've approved. And it's a development that is going to be located over in the Timber Trail subdivision, which is a subdivision started by the Hunt Midwest company out of Kansas City. And the Benton House is a senior living facility. It's going to be an assisted living center with some memory care units, and as part of a chain of facilities like this that have been under construction by Hunt Midwest throughout the Kansas City area. So this will be the 7th one that they've built within Kansas City, and it meets what they feel is a real need for the area, and it's going to be located just to the south of the Walmart, but actually be on the outer road. So in order to get to it, you would have to go down the outer road of the Interstate 71 highway to get access to it. But it's a 59-unit facility that will start out with 12 of those units will be memory care units. They're beautiful one-story buildings, and again, going to serve what they felt was a need for the community. So excited to see that project come forward from a very good company, Hunt Midwest.
And they plan to build even more additional units, isn't that correct?
That is correct. They always start, they build the same prototype in all their communities. The most recent one they opened up in Lee Summit, right next to the Lee Summit Medical Center. Started out with the 59 units, and then they added 14 units as a second phase. So what they have found is they start small, and then dependent upon occupancy, they'll come in with a second phase. But all their buildings are similar design, and so if you want to see what this facility would be like, they have facilities in, again, in Lee Summit and Prairie Village and a few other communities in the Kansas City area. So
As I understand it, their rooms will be private rooms, is that correct?
that is correct. Private rooms, and with of course a bathroom, and then a small kitchenette area would have a sink and a small refrigerator and a microwave. But outside of that, all the meals would be served through common areas, common dining facilities. Of course, the memory care area would be entirely secured area, and all on one level.
Well,
Has the parking situation been resolved on that?
It has been resolved. The city code for parking required a lot of spaces, and more spaces than what Hunt Midwest felt was necessary. In fact, out of their experience in their other facilities, they would prefer to have reduced parking spaces. And it just provides more space for creating great areas around rather than just asphalt, vacant, non-used asphalt parking lots. So the city did allow the number of spaces to be reduced. There was some question about it, but after looking closely at how their other facilities have been used, we allowed them to reduce the parking to, again, have more green space on their property.
I'm surprised that they're permitting, did you say microwave and refrigerators in the kitchenettes
They do, and the kitchenettes of the units.
for assisted living?
Yeah, assisted living units, not the memory care, yes.
Okay, because we're not permitted to do that here.
Sounds to me like it's competition for Foxwood Springs.
I think it is.
That might not be a bad idea.
I don't know.
well, as our population ages, and it's been proven that it does, there's the need for this kind of facilities becomes more and more obvious, and so Foxwood Springs can't take care of everybody, but certainly we are interested in the kind of places that are being built. I know that some places are coming right along on this, and that there's a definite need, but we don't want too much competition.
Well, the fact that they're going to have larger rooms, private rooms, and they're going to be amenities such as the kitchenette, I think that might be a draw.
Another project we have coming forward is a senior apartment complex. It's a 55 and older development that would be located just north of the Price Chopper grocery store. So it's an actual apartment building, apartment-looking buildings. They're 3-story buildings. They're market rate apartments. They do have amenities, clubhouse. They would have a small little swimming pool, wading pool, garage units, carport units, and it would be a secured location. So I believe the initial phases would be for 96 units in that development. So the owners have purchased the property, just haven't come forward with their plans to start building. So we're hoping that would move forward. We think that's a need and a great location for that type of use in the city.
Would
Is
they
that-
have dining facilities there?
Here, this would not. No, this would be actual fully equipped individual units.
Uh-huh.
Just as you would see in an apartment unit, it would be age restricted.
So there might be a need for more restaurants in the area.
Very much so. Very much
Yes,
so.
yes, we always need
Like
more
Cracker
restaurants.
Barrel.
Choices.
Well, tell me, Jim, is this one of those Missouri Housing Development Corporation projects?
The Raymore Senior Apartment project is not. It's actually a market rate apartment development.
Okay,
So that one would not be.
okay, because the other would be heavily subsidized.
The other, yes, the Legends one, it's called Ridgeway Villas, would have some financing through Missouri Housing.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any plans for the property west of Foxwood? That's between us and the,
Firestone. Between us and Firestone.
yes,
No specific plans. The property is zoned for commercial development. So I think you will see at least one more commercial site between Foxwood Springs and the car wash. Possibly two. I'm sure you're familiar with, there's a small pond right there. Where the cattle used to be able to go down and take a drink there. And that
Yes.
pond actually would be relocated. It would be moved.
Filled in.
So the possibility maybe of two businesses between the car wash and Foxwood Springs. And then the plan would be for a more commercial behind. There's a road to get into the car wash and the Firestone. And that would be the road to get into more commercial in the back in the future. So it's a longer term plan, nothing definitive, but it is planned for that.
Well, right now, when we go out in the evening to go to eat or whatever, 58 Highway is really busy. People coming home from work and so forth. Is there any way we can relieve that traffic situation? Because like my grandson teaches in Belton, he says it takes him an hour to get from Belton over here. And so, you know, the traffic on 58 is really crazy sometimes.
And it is. And there's really two projects. One that's happening or going to be happening over the next year will be improvements to 155th Street, which is the very northern roadway for Raymore that goes through Belton off of the 71 highway. That road is going to be entirely reconstructed. It's a joint project between the state, the city of Belton, and the city of Grandview. So that'll make that road, although it's an existing road, it will improve that road greatly. So that will help for people that are coming into the north part of the city. The city does have plans to extend the Y Highway 163rd roadway. This is a little bit long-term plan, but it would actually connect Kentucky. Right now it stops at Kentucky Road. It would continue to the east to connect with Fox Ridge Drive. So it would be a second roadway to get from the interstate and Belton area over to Raymore. It's just an expensive roadway to build, so we're still working on how to fund that, but that would relieve the traffic on 58 as well.
It seems like the people came before the roads.
They came too fast. Yeah,
With all their cars, you know, everybody had 2 cars and that kind of thing. So that's just made for crazy traffic on 58, and it's really a challenge
Well,
sometimes.
we also pick up traffic that goes all the way to Pleasant Hill
Yes.
at rush hour.
Yeah.
And that creates additional traffic through the city of Raymore.
For the St. Jude project.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
You want to talk
Well, the
about that?
question, how was Creekmore chosen for the St. Jude project? And they've been chosen for that for a number of years,
Yeah.
which creates, great
That's-
publicity for the
oh,
city,
yeah.
and of course a great cost, but it does bring some interest for individuals in the city of Raymore. And I think it was a combination of the location, the amenities that are part of that subdivision, the builders that are in that subdivision wanting to participate in the program, the St. Jude program. And so we've been very fortunate over several years now to have that.
What is the St. Jude project?
Sorry?
What is that project?
My understanding, and I don't know all the details, my understanding was support for the hospital, I thought.
Yeah, they advertised that if you purchased a chance to buy, to have this home,
It's a raffle.
yeah, it's a raffle, and because we have participated in it,
We
and
didn't run the
they
home.
put up one house. The builder donates the
Donates.
house, and you buy a raffle ticket, and and then in September, I think it was, they have the drawing, and they give away one of the homes in Creekmore, and all of the proceeds go to the St. Jude Hospital in Memphis.
And Cooper's been doing that, Cooper Development and their subsidiaries, developers have been doing that now for several years.
Yes, it's a beautiful home. You can go through it any time of the, during the year, and the home is open at least on weekends, I think. And it's a real draw, to think that you might win this house for $100, and it has been a good draw for Raymore and for that community, certainly.
And St. Jude.
Yes, yes, and it is, it's a good fundraiser for St. Jude.
And it's wonderful because the builder donates, their time and labor, and the other subcontractors, the electrician and the plumber and the cabinet makers,
Yeah.
everybody are donating their trade and their products for the sale of this home. So it brings together a lot of people for a
And
good
the
cause.
furniture, I think it comes with furniture. So if you have an extra $100 that you'd like to purchase, I'm sure they'd be happy to have you come along with a contribution, because it's a good cause, certainly.
Do you get any well, I'm sure you get some inquiries from retail businesses like restaurants and about the area and possibility of coming here?
Yeah, we definitely do. Of course, we are very proactive in searching out the different businesses and marketing the city of Raymore. And we market at different levels. Of course, we have the land area on 58 Highway that we market heavily, but we also have the new interchange to the 2 miles to the south,
Yeah,
the North Cass Parkway that we're marketing for the future commercial area for the city of Raymore. And so we go out at a couple of different, there are what's called shopping center shows throughout the country that we go to, where the national retailers participate, and we actively market the city of Raymore.
We have been soliciting the Cracker Barrel restaurant and the Panera restaurants by calling by going online to their online communications and letting them know that as a person who would like to have their restaurant here, that this would be a great place, especially that interchange down there. The new interchange, I think, would be wonderful to have. And since these are restaurants that like the interstates and so forth too.
And you're right, and that is one of the best things that individuals can do on their own is to talk to the manager or call the company and let them know what kind of interest Raymore has.
That's what we've been told too.
If you promote Raymore, it definitely will draw their attention. So, yes,
Well, you may be getting a call from them.
that's good. We'd love to.
Okay.
While
Bob,
we're talking about restaurants, at one time, Parazzelli's was going to locate across the road from Culver's, and then they chose not to do that. Is there anyone else looking at that property that you can discuss?
I have been told there are several restaurants, one of them a national chain, sit-down restaurant, that is looking at the property around Culver's. I have not had that discussion with the individuals, with the companies. I think it's between the landowner and the restaurants at this point in time. But I have been assured that they have several restaurants that they're currently and actively working on. So stand by. Hopefully that news will be provided soon.
What kind of businesses are we looking at next to us on the west? What type? It's been years. They keep going to be doing something, and then it falls apart, and I wonder, what are they looking for?
It does. I know there's been a number of smaller restaurants that have looked at that particular location. I think it's a matter of just the timing and getting the right size property to fit in there and the access. A lot of different factors go into how a business decides to select a location.
I've heard that that's one of the reasons the property at the church down here has had trouble selling is because they can't have access to 58.
That's right.